Welcome back to Tough Men of Faith.
You ready?
I'm ready. Had a good week.
Yeah, a great week.
I've been productive.
Have you?
Yeah, I've been pretty productive.
Good. I have been too. Yeah. It's been a busy couple of weeks, but yeah, it's going really good.
Yeah. I think that's how Karen knows if I had a good day, because when I come home every day, she's like, how was your day? And
Yeah.
he's like, if I say productive, I think she knows it's been a good day.
Yeah. Huh. Yeah, good point. Rachel's been texting me like midday lately,
Mm-hmm.
which I told her a long time ago not to do that. Like,
Okay.
You know, just wait until the end of the day and call me, text me, whatever. But she's
Yeah.
been texting me. Is there anything you need? Are you having a good day? It's the weirdest thing to me, but
Yeah.
some days, you know, I'm like, yeah, I need a hot meal, you know.
Yeah. Does she bring you a hot meal?
No, but she'll have something ready for me when I get home.
Oh, for when you get home.
Like, yeah, and that, you know, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So, anyway.
Yeah. Well.
Yeah.
No,
No, you're not saying
no.
anything, are
No,
you?
well, I mean, no, I probably shouldn't. I was just thinking that.
Yeah, I got you. This is how I get you in trouble.
It
We'll
does.
just go right down this rabbit hole.
I'm gonna refrain. Like
Yeah, refrain.
Yeah. Okay. Let's go. So you came up with this episode.
Yeah.
You've been brewing on it for a couple weeks.
Well, when we were on vacation, we were road tripping, and I noticed everywhere you drive, there's just advertisements for everything.
Can I stop you there? I don't know where you're going. I don't see your notes. We road tripped a couple weeks ago too. 'Cause remember, I told last episode that my flight got canceled.
Yeah.
Road tripping down. We ended up just getting a car, driving to Florida. Didn't know where we're going. We're just going to drive to Florida.
Yeah.
So we're living in Indiana, driving down there. There are signs everywhere for a place called Buc-ee's.
Oh, did you stop?
Did I stop? I stopped at the first one I found,
Okay.
and
Dude,
I'm a
it's like-
fan. Have you been?
No, so we passed it.
You didn't stop.
There's only one that we
Okay.
passed. We passed it. I'm like, well, surely there'll be another. And I'm looking at it, and I'm seeing, like, it looks like a mile of gas pumps.
The one we stopped at had 120 pumps. Wait, didn't I tell you to stop at that on your way down?
Yeah, you did.
And you didn't listen.
Well, I figured there'd be another one.
You missed out on a blessing.
Great.
You go in there. It's like,
It's like a small mall, right?
yeah, but there's so many people. It's like church on Easter or Black Friday shopping. I mean, it's just crazy. Everyone's like excited to
Wait
be
a minute,
there.
church on an Easter?
Yeah, I mean, everyone's
That's a lot of people.
it's packed and everyone's smiling, excited to be there.
Wow.
And I'm telling you, they have like brisket and pulled pork.
Are they known for like having the cleanest restrooms or something?
Yes, that's what
Okay.
their sign says. Restrooms are clean. They have guys just standing in the restroom cleaning them.
Is it like
Crazy.
the guy that gives you a spray of cologne and
Sure, yeah.
puts the soap on your
Yeah.
hands for you?
Yeah. But I had so we stopped at 1,
Okay.
and it was early in the morning, but
Yeah.
they had their brisket ready, so I got it. 10
Nice.
o'clock, huge
Yeah.
brisket sandwich. It was great.
Really?
We drive an hour or so down the road. Not too far. There's another one.
You know what's funny? I love gas station food.
Do you?
My wife makes fun of me all the time for it. But doing construction, if I don't take my lunch,
Mhm.
you get tired of all the fast food joints.
Right.
But these gas stations are starting to pop up, and they've got little grills in the back, and they are phenomenal. They make decent food, not like your wife's home cooked food that's amazing, but not like your grandma's food or something. But they make pretty decent food, a whole lot
Yeah.
better than Jimmy John's, McDonald's, Burger King. All the normal
Yeah.
crap that's out there.
If I stop you're gonna make fun of me for this, but if I stop in a gas station and I have to eat like food, I'm usually getting their boiled eggs.
Really?
Yeah. You know, if you go like their cold section, they usually
No,
have
I
a
know
couple
what
of
you're
them.
talking about.
Yeah.
There's some things I don't trust at a gas station, like sushi or boiled eggs.
I've never done the sushi, but the boiled eggs.
Right, okay.
Anyway, the Buc-ee's.
Yeah.
So we stop at the next one. I get a pulled pork sandwich. It was great. Go ahead with your story. You're saying everyone's advertising. Or
No, so we're on the road. Everybody's advertising. I mean, and it's so funny. Like, you got different colors of stuff. You've got different slogans of stuff. You've got, everybody's trying to get your attention to buy their product or to, shop at their store, or to use their Buc-ee's bathrooms or, buy their pulled pork sandwiches or their, for instance, some people like hard-boiled eggs when they stop at a gas
That's
station.
true.
It's weird. So we're driving, and Rachel's riding shotgun. This is probably where I get myself in a little bit of trouble. So I had this idea. I'm like, yeah, I'm going to do it. When we get back, I'm going to do a podcast on this advertising thing, and I'm going to talk about Rachel a little bit. And she's like reading every other sign.
Mhm.
She's like, State Park, 10 miles. And she's like, oh, look, there's a Hey Dude store up ahead. 10 miles. Can we please stop and buy some Hey Dudes? And I'm like, sure. So we stop at the Hey Dude store. They're closed 2.5 hours ago. I'm like, okay. But she just like reads off all these signs, and
Yeah.
it's almost like to the point where it's funny, slightly annoying. But anyway, so it got me to thinking. I was like, yeah, I want to make this cool podcast episode about this. It's going to be fun. And we're going to talk about it and make fun of my wife a little. And I felt like God almost smacked me. And he's like, hey, stupid, stop.
Yeah.
Do an episode on advertising, but talk about how men advertise themselves and what men are advertising the other 6 days a week when they're not at church.
I was wondering where you're going. Like, this is a long way to get into this. I'm like,
Yeah, sorry.
did Nick lose his mind down
No,
there in
he
Georgia? And then
didn't.
you bring this around. Like, that's good, right? So, yeah.
Yeah, so a lot of people put on a different face, put on their nice clothes,
Mm-hmm.
different attitude on Sunday mornings, go to church, act the part for an hour or so, and then they go back. And the reason I feel so comfortable talking about this is because a little bit of conviction here for me. I was kind of doing the same thing for a while. I fit the mold for a construction worker 5 days a week.
Yeah.
And it's funny, I would turn one thing off and turn one thing on and be a different person at my job as a construction worker. And I caught myself doing it.
Yeah.
And I've really been trying to work on it here
Mm-hmm.
lately. I've been trying to push myself to be Christian first, construction worker second, Christian first, husband second, Christian first, anything that falls in line, but be Christian first and then be what I have to be next.
Yeah. I mean, that's good because that's where you find out if your faith is genuine.
Yep.
It's easy to show up at a church on Sunday morning.
Yeah.
And
Become friends with the pastor,
friends,
shake everybody's
yeah,
hands.
smile, everything's great. Like we talked last week, you can pretend that everything's okay.
Yeah.
But then when you show up Monday and a builder, or for you, like a builder doesn't show up or doesn't do something that ticks you off, like,
Yeah.
how do you respond?
Yep.
Like, do you respond?
Are you cussing and screaming and walking down the street? Are you
Right.
being that guy, or are you going to try and do something different and be a Christian first and be a construction worker second?
Yeah, or when you go home that night and your wife maybe says something that upsets you or something.
Yeah, she would never do that. But
no,
yeah,
but I
not
mean, it
my
wouldn't be
wife.
her fault. But
Yeah.
if you took it wrong,
Yeah.
and all of a sudden you're like, how do you respond to that?
Yeah.
Right? And so are you responding in a godly way? And
Yep.
because I like thinking about this because, like our wives or our children, I have kids, like they watch me on Sunday.
Yeah.
And that's how I live on Monday match up to what I'm portraying on Sunday.
Yep.
Or my wife, right? So if I'm going around and being all nice to everyone on Sunday and speaking
Right.
kind words to
Yeah,
them and
exactly.
encourage them, and then
And treat her like trash the rest of the
if I treat
day.
her like crap, like she's like,
Yeah.
are you really? Do you
Yeah.
really believe that?
So no, I was talking to a builder that I work with. Really respect this guy a lot, and he saw my Tough Men of Faith hat or Tough Men of Faith bumper sticker, whatever it was that day.
Maybe it was your tattoo.
What's that? Maybe it's a tattoo.
You got that done, right?
No, it's coming
Oh,
up.
okay.
It's going to happen soon. So yeah, he sees it and he's like, "What's Tough Men of Faith?" He's like, "Some church group or something you belong to?" I was like, "No, it's a podcast that me and a good friend of mine do." And he just kind of looked at me, kind of side-eyed me, He's like, "You do a Christian podcast for men?" Like, yeah. And when he said that, as I thought about it for a minute, I've been advertising myself not as a Christian man. And I need to work on that myself. So
Yeah.
anyway, we got another listener out of it.
Well, good.
Yeah, Paul listens and he critiques it, which is cool.
Does he?
He's a Christian guy too, so
Yeah.
it's cool. But yeah. So anyway, I thought about that a little bit, and then so we were on vacation, and here's the advertising thing. It comes back to it again. When we go on vacation, especially when we road trip, when we try not to road trip, we like to fly, but we don't always fly, so we road trip. Anyway, we're driving. When you've been in the vehicle for 6-ish hours, we need to get out and stretch our legs. You stop at Buc-ee's.
Right.
Something me and Rachel started doing years ago is I'll tell her to find a winery.
Okay.
We can either get out and go walk around the vineyard, maybe want to have a glass of wine and just relax for a little bit, but we met this guy. She finds this winery in Round O, South Carolina. And this is like almost like West Virginia, like South Carolina. It's getting a little hilly. There's music, there's bluegrass music being played around the corner. Guys playing spoons. We pull up, and this place, no advertising whatsoever. It's got a Google ad, and it's got like 2.5 stars.
Yeah.
She still found it. We went there. Pull up to this guy's place. No driveway. You pull into the grass. I'm in my wife's Equinox, and pull into the grass, get out, and there's this 70-year-old man sitting on the front porch.
Just by himself?
Nicest guy you ever met in your whole life. I thought that we needed a break from the driving, like it was for us. Mm-hmm. And we get there, and I think that God put us there for him.
Interesting.
Yeah, he needed somebody to talk to.
Yeah.
And he shared as much as he could with me for the next hour and a half, 2 hours. To the point where I was dying to get back on the road
Right.
again. Yeah, he walked us around his vineyard. He showed us everything. He's a former military, former Army guy.
Okay.
Retired, it seemed like recently, but
Okay.
he also seemed like he was, 110 years old.
Well,
so.
the Army will age you quick.
Oh, maybe that's it. Okay. Yeah, all his kids are in the military. The house that his winery is held in was the house he was born in. So he's walking me through, and these are like dirt floor poor people in South Carolina.
Yeah.
He's walking me through this house, and he's like, "Yeah, I was born right there," and he's like pointing out the spot. And
That'd be so interesting to talk to him.
I know it was great. Like we talked about this. We should road trip down there and go talk to him. Like the three of us, we could make a long day out of it. Anyway, it would be fun. His wine was terrible. Absolutely terrible.
Right. Well, the 2.5 stars. Right?
Yeah, right. We figured out why. But the company was phenomenal.
Yeah.
And
what'd you learn from him? Where did you learn anything from him?
I did. I learned a lot from him. He was a teacher. I knew that 5 minutes after getting there that he was a teacher, part-time now. He does like substitute teaching or something. I knew that. It's funny that you can hang out with somebody for 5 minutes and realize that they're a teacher.
Right.
He did not care about anything more than showing me. So we walk around the vineyard. He's leading me around basically by my ear. And he's shown me. He's like, well, these grapes do this and these grapes do that. And check out these trees over here. And we're walking through this guy's vineyard. It's a little odd. It's hot. His wine sucks. And I have a full glass of it in my hand. And he notices I'm not drinking it because it sucks. Anyway.
Yeah.
We had a great time. I learned to never judge a book by its cover because we pulled up to this place and I'm thinking, Rachel, let's get out of here now. And we got there and it felt like everything was right. Like we were led there to be there for a reason. So I don't know. It just, I don't even know why I wanted to bring it up with advertising because it really doesn't have anything to do with it. But this guy was super cool and he advertised himself as being a Christian man, a teacher, a military man. And he just, almost like he was looking for a friend. Like when we left there, it felt like we had known each other for 20 years. Yeah. And I think that was really cool. Just the way he carried himself. It kind of gives me, I'm kind of a people person too. I never really met a stranger. And it kind of gives me hope that it's okay to be that way. Because, I mean, you know, something that somebody might come to me and feel like they need something that I have and get there and realize that they're really there because I needed them to be there. And that's kind of what we learned in that.
Yeah. Well, it gives you the opportunity to have influence, right, and use it in a positive way.
Yeah.
Like, so this kind of circling back to this is who you are on Sunday.
Right.
But when you're influencing other guys on Monday and Tuesday at work or at the gym or
or Thursday when a podcast drops or
shooting trap or something like that, like are you using your influence in a positive way at those places? Like what are those guys seeing? And
exactly. Yeah, I don't know. That's I was thinking it was like the way he advertised himself. We got there. We didn't realize they were closed that day, but they were open because they were just there. And we get there, and the guy's in like holy jeans and like a flannel. They're not even flannel shirt. Like what's those long underwears? You know, like the long underwear shirts.
Like
what are they
thermals?
called? Yeah, like thermal underwear. Yeah. So he's in one of them. And it's like rolled up because it's hot. It's South Carolina hot, and he's just like the happiest guy in the world because we're there. Like he just, he didn't need anything. He didn't want anything. But now that we're there, he's off the front porch. Yeah. He's off his rocker. Maybe that's where that term comes from.
Maybe. I've never known.
I never thought about that. Yeah. But yeah, no, I don't know. I just, and then really kind of the final point, I know this is kind of a short one, but the final point it really got me to thinking about is this why so many people that don't go to church belong to a church? Is this why they have a problem with churches? Is it because they see people that do go to churches and how they act the other 6 days out of the week? Am I preventing someone from going to church because of the way that I was acting the other 6 days a week? Yeah. Because they see that as a, does the church get a bad rep because of, the way Christians,
I think that's good.
Act the other 6 days a week.
Right. So if you're hey, my name's Nick, and I go to this church, and then I love Jesus, and then they see how you act, and there's never, I would say, so you're not expected to be perfect, right? But so when you do screw up, do you repent? Do you ask for forgiveness?
Right.
So Christians are far from perfect, but they realize they need a Savior, and they show grace, they show mercy, so that's what separates us.
Yeah, but are they changing who they are to go to church on Sunday or Wednesday night, or, when they are doing a podcast, or, are they changing who they are then? If you were to tell somebody, yes, I go to church, yes, I do a Christian-based podcast for men, yes, I do this, are they going to believe you, or are they going to say, no way, not that guy?
Yeah. I always think that, if you go back the last 20 to 30 years in church world, which I know you're not all that familiar with.
Right.
So people would say that, hey, they should know you're a Christian, and a lot of times it was by how you address.
Yeah.
Right. So Nick dresses a certain way. Yeah. His haircut's a certain way. He doesn't have that beard, or I mean, so like, hey, he looks sharp, and so it makes him a Christian. When in reality, none of that matters, right? I should walk into a room, and I probably don't know who the Christian is just by looking at how everyone's dressed. Yeah. But let everyone in that room get angry, or watch how they interact with their spouse, or watch how they take disappointment, or how they deal with anxiety.
Yep.
And then all of a sudden you find out who the true believers are.
Exactly.
It's how you live, not how you look.
Right. Yeah, and Rachel had brought up a real good point for this too. She didn't help me write this, but she said, if somebody's to say something ill about you, or to accuse you of doing something, mm-hmm. would people say, yeah, I could see him doing that? Or would they say, I think you got the wrong guy.
Yeah.
That's just not the Nick I know. That's not the RT I know. It's not the producer Blake I know. Maybe you need to check your facts, and because it couldn't be them.
Yeah. That's a good way to look at it.
Yeah. And it just kind of really got me thinking a little bit. So
it's been fun to hear about your road trip and how you met. And
it's so weird. He's like, first off, he didn't call me Nick. He called me John.
Okay.
I introduced myself to him 4 or 5 times, corrected him 3 or 4 times. He didn't care.
Yeah.
I think he had that Big John song stuck in his head. Cause
I know that song. I listened to it yesterday.
Really?
Yeah, I did.
Big Bad John.
Because I have a Johnny Cash Pandora station that I listen to.
Oh, yeah.
If I listen to music, if I'm not listening to podcasts, it's usually like this Johnny Cash station. And so they play that song all the time. So I thumbs up it so much. So my kids.
So anyway, he calls me John. We're sitting there, and he's like, well, let me get your address. Okay, now it's getting a little creepy. So Rachel grabs one of his business cards and starts writing down Nick and Rachel, and I swipe it from her, Absolutely not. Grab another business card, and I write John and Rachel across the top of it, and put our address on it. He wants to send us the start of a pear tree, and wants to send us some muscadines, because I've never had a muscadine right off the vine. So he wants to send us some muscadines, and he's going to send us all kinds of stuff, because, I told him about when we tried to grow our own grapes.
Yeah.
And he's laughing at me the whole time. Well, did you make any wine? I'm like, no, actually, we sold the house before they ever produced anything.
Well, that's why they bought the house, wasn't it? Because you're grapevine, so.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. And I tried to take them, and the new people are like, sorry, you can't have these. So anyway. Yeah, super good time. And usually we stop, and it's funny, we'll walk around a vineyard, or we'll just take a walk, or around a park, or just do something, grab a charcuterie board or whatever. And, this stop was purely, maybe it was for us in the end, but maybe it was for him too. Maybe it was for both of us, and we were just led there, because this place was this wasn't 2 miles off the highway winery. This is like a 30-minute drive. And I'm like, Rachel, what are you doing? Why did you pick this one? And, anyway. As luck will have it, that's where it ended up.
Yeah.
So,
anything else for today?
I don't think so. Just watch how you advertise yourself.
Yeah, that's good.
And even if you're not a Christian, even if you're just listening to the podcast and you're not a Christian, watch how you advertise yourself all the time, because your kids see it, your wife sees it, your friends sees it, all the strangers in public see it. Everybody sees how you act all the time, and everybody will form their own opinion of you.
Yeah, including on social media.
Including on social media.
Right? So everyone kind of has their own brand on social media, whether you think of it or not. So what you're putting there, your future employers may take a look at that.
Yeah. So. Nice. Well, thanks for hanging out with us again. We'll be back here soon.
Can't wait for next week.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. It's going to be a fun season.
Yeah, share it on Facebook.
Yeah.
Give us a review on the podcast.
Maybe we'll make the trip down to Big O, South Carolina.
Let's do it. All right, we'll see you guys.
Thanks.